Hi students, I hope you all are doing fine. Welcome back to the new video session. In this video session, we will be discussing questions on inequalities, which is a very important and easy scoring topic for bank PO and clerical prelims exam. So in the examination, you can expect 3 to 5 questions, which are usually very easy to easy questions. So don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and do like the video. So now let's look into the questions. Now first let's start with reading the directions. In each of the following questions, some statements followed by two conclusions are given. Assuming that the given statements to be true, find which of the two conclusions follow or follows the given statements and choose appropriate answer choices. So let's look at the answer choices. We are given 5 answer choices, which is if only conclusion 1 is true, if only conclusion 2 is true, if either conclusion 1 or conclusion 2 is true, and the fourth if neither conclusion 1 or conclusion 2 is true, and the fifth if both conclusions 1 and 2 are true. So before getting into the questions, I would like to share 3 important or 3 shortcuts you can use to save time in the examination to answer such questions. So generally in this type of questions, there are 5 symbols which are used in the questions, which is greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and equal to. These are the 5 main symbols which are used in the statements. So now let's look at the first shortcut. If we are given A greater than B, B greater than C, and C greater than D, we will be asked to find the relation between A and C or the relation between A and D. So now let's find out the relation between A and C. We can here see that the symbols here are the same. So in this case, we can directly assume that the end result will also be the same symbol, which is A greater than C. So let's find out the relation between A and D. As you can see, since A is greater than C and C is greater than D, the end result will also be A greater than D, which is same as D less than A. So this is the first shortcut. If the symbols are same, we can conclude that the end result will also be the same. In all the 5 cases, the 5 symbols which we have got, in all the cases, the end result will be same. So let's look at the other example. If A is less than B and B is less than C, the end result will be A is less than C. So this is the first shortcut. So now let's look at the second shortcut. The second shortcut here. Suppose A is greater than B, B greater than or equal to C, and C greater than D. So let's find out the relation between A and C. So this can be written in 2 ways: A greater than B and B is greater than C, or A greater than B, B equal C. So in the first case, as seen in the first shortcut, as the symbols are the same, the end result will also be the same, which is A greater than C. And in the second case, since B is equal to C, let's replace B with C, and the end result, the relation between A and C will also remain the same, which is A greater than C. So in both the cases, you can see A is always greater than C. So from this we can conclude that if the symbols are greater than and greater than or equal to, greater than and greater than or equal to, the end result will always be greater than. And this is also same if the symbols are less than or equal to, the end result will be less than. Okay, this is the two we have to remember in the second shortcut. So the relation, so now the relation between A and D will be, so since A is greater than C in both the cases and C is greater than D, as we have seen in the first shortcut, since the symbols are same, the end result will also be the same, A greater than D, which is same as D less than A. So this is the second shortcut. So now let's look into the third shortcut. Given that if A is greater than B, B less than C, and C greater than D. So let's find out the relation. Here we have common, the common between A and C is, here is B. So let's find out the relation between A and B, which is A greater than B, and the relation between B and C is B less than C, which is same as C greater than B. So in both the cases, in this case we can see that both A and C are greater than B, but we cannot definitely conclude if A is greater than C or A is less than C or A equals C. So in this case we cannot definitely conclude whether A is greater than or less than or equal to C. So this happens if the symbols here are opposite. What are opposite symbols? First, greater than and less than, this is the opposite symbols. Second, greater than and less than or equal to. Third, less than and greater than or equal to. And in the fourth, greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. In any of this case, in any of these opposite pairs, the end result cannot be concluded, hence the statements cannot be determined. The relation between two values cannot be determined. So this is the third shortcut. So what was so let's revise the three shortcuts. The first shortcut, A greater than B and B greater than C. If the symbols are same, the end result will be same. So this is the first shortcut. And the second shortcut, if A is greater than B and B greater than or equal to C, the end result will be A greater than B. And the third shortcut, if the symbols are opposite, A greater than B and B less than C, no conclusion can be formed. No conclusion can be formed. So these are the three shortcuts which we will use to solve the question, which will also help you in the examination to solve the question in less than 30 seconds. So now let's look at the questions. The first question, the statements. Here we are given the two statements, the first and the second statement. The first statement here is P less than Q, Q less than or equal to R. This is the first statement. The second statement, S greater than or equal to Q, Q greater than T. This is the second statement. So now let's look at the conclusion. The first conclusion here is P less than S. Can we directly form a relation between P and S? No, because P and S are in the different statement. So let's find out the common term between the first and the second statement, which is O, and let's use which is Q, sorry, and use this in the middle and P at one of the end, P at the left end and S at the other end. So, using Q, we will find out the relation between P and S. So, let us find out the relation between P and Q. From the first statement, P is less than Q, and from the second statement, S is greater than or equal to Q, which is same as Q is less than or equal to S. So, as seen in the second shortcut, since the pair are less than and less than or equal to, the end result will be P less than S. Hence, the statement 1 is true. So, now let us look at the second statement. So, second conclusion, sorry. Similarly, here T, the relation is asked between T and P. T is in the second statement, P is in the first statement, and let us take Q in the middle, since Q is the common term between the two statements. So, let us write T at one end and P at other end. So, the relation between T and Q here is Q greater than T, which is same as T less than Q, and the relation between Q and P from the first statement, Q is greater than P is less than Q, which is same as Q greater than P. As seen in the third shortcut, since the symbols are opposite, the end result cannot be concluded, hence T greater than P cannot be concluded. So, only option 1, which is if only conclusion 1 is true, this is the correct option. So, let us move on to the next question. Next question, let us look at the statement. Here you can see this is same as the first question. The first statement here is P is less than Q, Q is less than or equal to R, and the second statement S is greater than or equal to Q and Q is greater than T. So, now let us directly get into the conclusion. We have asked the relation between R and S. As done in the previous questions, the common term here is Q, as R and S are in the different statements. Let us write Q in the middle, R at one end and S at the other end. So, let us find the relation between R and Q. Here Q is less than or equal to R, which is same as R greater than or equal to Q, and the relation between S and Q and S is greater than or equal to Q, which is same as Q is less than or equal to S. As seen in the third shortcut, we have seen the opposite pairs, greater than or equal to and less than or equal to are opposite pairs. So, no relation between R and S can be formed. So, option 1 is not conclusion 1 is not true. So, now let us look at the second conclusion. The second conclusion is asked between the relation between R and T is asked. Now, R is in the first statement and T is in the second statement. So, let us write R at one end, since Q is a common term, Q in the middle and T at the other end. So, the relation between R and Q here is Q is less than or equal to R, which is same as R greater than or equal to Q, and the relation between Q and T is Q is greater than T. As seen in the second shortcut, since the symbols are greater than or equal to and greater than, the end result will be R greater than T, which is true. Which is true, the conclusion 1 is false and only conclusion 2 is true. So, option 2 is the correct choice. Since I have in the examination, to save a little more time, instead of writing it on the paper or solving, you can directly do it in your mind, which would help you save a lot of time, and this type of questions will take no more than 30 seconds to solve, which this is a very easy scoring topic. So, now let us look at the next question. Third, here we are given 3 statements, but looking at the third statement, yeah, which is asking, which is the relation between M and R. M is also common in the first statement. Since this is a small statement, let's club the third statement with the first statement. Here we are given M is greater than R, which is same as R less than M. So let's erase this. So now let's use only these two statements to solve the to find out the conclusions. So the first conclusion here is O is less than Q. So O is in the first statement, and the first statement here we know R is less than M, M equals N, N is greater than or equal to O, O is less than or equal to P, and N is less than Q. And the first conclusion, O which is less than Q, here O is in the first statement and Q is in the second statement, and the common term between them here is N. So let's write N in the middle, O at one end and Q at the other end. So let's find out the relation between O and N. So here N is greater than or equal to O, which is same as O less than or equal to N, and the relation between N and Q, N is less than Q, as seen in the second shortcut. Since the pair is less than or equal to and less than, the end result will be O is less than Q, which is true in this case. So the conclusion 1 is true. Conclusion 1 is true. So now let's look at the second conclusion, P greater than R. Here now, since we have added R to the first statement, we can directly use only the first statement to solve this question. So let's find out. Let's first find out the relation between R and P. We have M in the middle. We'll instead of N, we'll replace it with M, and the relation between M and O, we have to find the new statement will be R less than M, M greater than or equal to O, and O less than or equal to P. So we'll first find out the relation between M and P, and then the relation between P and R. So the relation between M and P, since here we are given M is greater than or equal to O and O is less than or equal to P, as seen in the third shortcut, these are the opposite pairs, hence no conclusion can be formed from this state, no conclusion can be formed. So the no relation between R and P can be concluded. So only option 1 is true, which is choice 1, if only conclusion 1 is true. So now let's move on to the next question. The fourth question. Now let's look at the statements. Here the first statement is A is less than B, B is greater than or equal to C, and C equals D. This is the first statement. The second statement, E is greater than P and P is greater than or equal to B. Now looking at the conclusions, we can see the first and the second. We are asked the relation between F and D. In both the conclusion, the relation between F and D is asked. So let's find out the relation between F and D here. F is in the second statement and D is in the first statement. So the common term between them here is B. B is the common term between first and the second statement. So let's write B in the middle, F at one end and D at the other end. So let's find out the relation between F and B. Here F is greater than or equal to B, and in the second statement F is greater than or equal to B. In the first statement, here B is greater than or equal to C, and C equals D. So we are asked the relation between B and D. Since C equals D, let's replace C with D. So the new relation between B and D will be B is greater than or equal to D. As seen in the first shortcut, since the symbols here are same, the end result will also be the same. So the relation between F and D will be F greater than or equal to D. But here we will get two cases. First, F greater than D and F equals D. Now let us look at the first statement, first conclusion. F is greater than D. Is F greater than D? Is it true? It is not true in the second case, which means it does not follow. And the second, D equals F. Here you can see, here F is greater than D and F is equals D. From this you can say that if D equals F is definitely not true. But one thing we can conclude here is F is either greater than D or F equals D. Hence one of this conclusion will definitely follow. So which is choice 3 if either conclusion 1 or conclusion 2 is true. So let us look at the next question. The fifth question. Let us read the statements. Here we are given two statements again. The first statement, U is less than or equal to V, V equals X and X is greater than Y. And the second statement, W is greater than V. So now let us get into the conclusion. The first conclusion, W is greater than or equal to U. W is in the second statement and U is in the first statement. So let us find out the common term between the first and the second statement, which is U. So let us write U in the middle, W at one end, sorry, V in the middle, U in the other end. Here V is the common term. So let us find out the relation between W and V. From the second statement you can say that W is greater than V, and the relation between V and U, here U is less than or equal to V, which is same as V greater than or equal to U. So as seen in the second shortcut, greater than or equal to, the end result will be W greater than U. W greater than U. So as seen in the first conclusion, we are asked, we have given that W is greater than or equal to U, which is not true in this case. Hence, option 1 does not follow. So now let us look at the second conclusion. We are asked the relation between V and Y. V and Y, which Y is in the first statement, V is in the second statement. So the common term here is, V and Y are in the same statements. So we need not need the second statement, only statement 1 is enough to solve this question. So let us replace X with V, since V equals X. So the new statement will be V is greater than Y, which is also not true in this case, since the conclusion here given is V greater than or equal to Y, which is not true. Hence neither 1 nor 2 conclusion follow. So option 4, neither conclusion 1 nor conclusion 2 follows. So what are the 3 shortcuts we have learned in this session? The first, the symbols are same, the end result will also be the same. Second, if the symbols are greater than and greater than or equal to, the end result will be greater. This is the second shortcut. And the third shortcut, which is if the symbols are opposite, if they are opposite pair, the end result cannot be concluded. So these are the 3 shortcuts you have to remember and use this to solve the questions. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you have any doubts, you can join the Telegram channel and ask the doubts. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and do follow us on Instagram and Facebook. All the links of this social media handles are given in the description box. And for classroom coaching, do contact your nearest time center, and for online courses you can directly log into the website, which is time4e. All the links will be given in the description box. Okay. Thank you, students. Hope you all do well in the examination.